Hey guys, what is up today? It's Naveen. It's been a while. Haven't recorded that much in a while. If anything, the last time I posted was like 3 months ago. But yeah, I guess like a quick update. Been getting along with work, got promoted, which is nice. Just been hella busy really, like life, gym, work especially. And then as of recently, and I guess the purpose of this video was that I passed my Solutions Architect Associate exam. So I spent about like 3 months grinding that, and I had a couple of resources that I'm here to show that helped me get to it. But I guess overall my experience with the exam was, it definitely wasn't easy, and it didn't help as well that I scheduled it at like 1 a.m. on a Sunday night. So I had to get up at that time, clear out my desk, and I was doing it remote as well. So I guess when you do it remote, you have to like disconnect your external monitor, move everything out of your desk, have nothing there, and basically have to show that to the proctor who's watching remotely, and that was just a whole pain. So really, my exam was meant to start at 1. By the time I got in through like the waiting line, I think I started my exam at like 2 a.m. and it's like a 90-minute, I think, exam. Could be wrong. But yeah, took a while. 65 questions wasn't too bad. I guess as you get through it and as you practice, you'll see that a lot of the time is just specific wordings, and you have to understand, I guess, a bit deeper about what the technologies are, like I guess the difference between STS and SQS, like things like that. They'll throw those like slight wordings in there, like they'll throw in stuff like, oh, what is the difference between like CloudFront over the accelerator, you know, why would you use like a Dynamo DB over like an Aurora DB, stuff like that. And yeah, but I guess what helped me a lot was a couple of resources. So if I share my screen, yeah, I guess what kind of helped me out a lot was these couple of resources which I'll show. But yeah, I guess one of the main challenges is just overall just trying to answer every question as best you can, because there are 15 questions that AWS uses to I guess mark their tests, or I guess upskill for them the quality of their exams. And except I guess that's good because it means the exams are more balanced, improved, they're constantly iterating on it. But I guess for a participant it kind of sucks because you don't know what questions are, you know, going to be marked. So realistically, you're trying to get as close as you can to 50 out of 50, I guess. So I guess that was kind of my mindset going in, trying to answer as much as possible, but guaranteeing at least that I was pretty confident that I at least got like 50 of the questions right. And then with wiggle room, you know, obviously, hopefully more, but that was my aim. And yeah, I guess in terms of resources that helped, so basically I used Udemy. I mainly relied on this course by Stefan Marbic. I'm not too sure how to pronounce, apologies. But yeah, this is really a good course. I tried out A Cloud Guru, I guess, through my work, and while like the UI was better and kind of flashy, like I just felt like when it came down to doing the practice test, at least initially, like a month after I basically finished that course, I feel like they didn't really cover it in details. It could also be just me being busy and not remembering as much. But yeah, I definitely recommend this course. So this was basically my study buddy throughout. So I guess my process for there was I went through the course, created notes, which basically it was not really the most efficient way, but I guess it was the way that worked for me, was I'd take screenshots of information, write out some notes around it, and just go from there. So basically for each lecture, have like a page or so of notes written out, and I did that through Notion, and I'll show that later on. Yeah, that's basically how I operated with regards to just studying and learning the content. Of course, Google helps a lot, so if there were certain things I didn't understand, checking that in. And I guess ChatGPT kind of blew up over the time I was doing this exam, so trying it out with ChatGPT, but I don't know. still feel like there was some inaccuracies there. Like there were some questions that I, copy and pasted into ChatGPT or even like Bing's AI. And there was just mistakes. Like I'd try it and I'd get questions wrong. So I wouldn't, at this stage, at time of recording, probably not recommend using AI to try and solve your practice questions. But yeah, it's just me. So once I'd basically finished studying and was pretty confident with the course materials, I definitely, firstly, at every section, so he does it in topics, there's like practice questions that in this course that Stefan asks. I'd recommend doing those a couple times, just to get like a general gist of the terminologies, the technologies, and like a basic understanding. Just because in Stefan's course, the questions or the practice questions aren't really. So I guess from after basically completing Stefan's course, I moved on to Tutorials Dojo practice questions. These were really good. So shout out to John Bonzo. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name correctly, but yeah, these questions were really good. So as you can see, what this course entails. They had different types of questions. So there was modes where you can try the question, get instant feedback, see if you got it right, or modes that were more similar to the exam where you just select the answer, you don't get feedback until the end of the exam. So I definitely, as you can see, I didn't really finish the entire course, did a lot of it. And as you can see, I didn't need to, but you can see some of my scores. I think the one thing with these practice exams is that there isn't that much variety after you get used to it. So like the first couple of times will probably be more indicative of your understanding, rather than later on after you've done it a couple of times, you're probably just memorizing, I've read this question a couple of times, let me click the answer. So just be mindful of that. But overall, I think these questions are some of them are memory dumps, meaning I guess AWS doesn't really allow people to, I guess, copy in their questions, because I guess that affects the validity of the exam. But inevitably, people just take the exam, remember some of the questions, and then just rewrite them out. I guess fortunately for me, some of the questions I did come up. I guess there was like some Dynamo questions and some IAM questions that were, if not worded exactly the same, like very similar, and the answer was still the same. So I definitely noticed that these were very indicative of the AWS exam. Yeah, overall pretty good, but I did, again, like I said, felt like towards the end of my study, I was just kind of repeating and memorizing the questions and not really understanding the answer completely. So I moved on to doing, I guess, two types of practice exams. So one from Neil Davis. These were kind of good. I think they were slightly easy and slightly outdated a little bit, felt like, even though it did say 2023. Yeah, that was just my personal opinion, but they were really good. Would recommend as well, especially at this price. Maybe not the full price, the $64.99. So if you Udemy always has sales, so if you're able to snag it for that price, that'd be really good. And then Stefan's and Abhishek Singh's practice exams as well, which I found were much harder and kind of inconsistent in formatting and grammar at times. It was hard to understand, but I guess there's, again, a good variety and good variation that I guess helped me towards studying it. But yeah, overall, would rank them probably Tutorials Dojo number 1. Do that basically straight after you finish your course. Then I guess really it's up to you. I'd probably lean towards Stefan's and Stefan and Abhishek's course, but again, read the reviews. Again, pretty much similar, 4.6, 4.5. Potato, both really good, and if you can snag them before this price, then I think that'd be awesome. But yeah, that's basically how I studied in a nutshell. I guess the next thing is I'll show you I guess how I took notes. Sweet. So So yeah, I basically made a page from a Notion. If I full screen this, oh, so yeah, basically made a page in Notion. So my exam was April 23rd, 29th of May, so basically a month ago. And again, I've been just busy with work. Ideally, I would have liked to make this video earlier, but it is what it is. And yeah, so that was just a note of me for making a video. So, but yeah, here's my study notes. So didn't import the practice exams, just did them online because I felt like I'd be a pain in the ass just a screenshot. I saw some people on Reddit that was their study method, that they would take screenshots of the questions they got wrong and try and go back and revise, but I just felt like that wasn't it for me. And yeah, basically this is all I made, like a whole list. So this is basically Stefan's course. I'm not gonna dive too deeply because I don't want to, like, copyright infringe, give away his content. But basically these are the topics, and each of them had like an exam. So for example, if I go into the cloud overview, so yeah, it was like screenshots about the regions, like how to choose a region, blah blah blah. And yeah, has basically the basics of it. And then I tried like doing questions I got wrong, but I don't know, I didn't end up looking at the end, thinking it was just a waste of time. And so I just ended up like doing this as well, so things that I kept getting wrong. So like VPC, is a pretty like big part of the exam. VPC, IM, and DBs, I'd say, are probably like the three main stuff, like three main like these topics that are constantly like referenced or involved in different parts of the questions. So yeah, definitely revise that. Subnets, ALB versus NLB, that's a pretty common one, pretty easy to remember. Yeah, like guard duty, inspector, that was a bit of a challenge. That was like a last minute memorize, like because I just kept forgetting the difference between them. And yeah, you can see like I guess my style of taking notes is quite colloquial, so you'll see like me like saying like organization shit and stuff like that. It's just easier for me to understand rather than just writing it out in big technical complex lingo. Oh, don't want to show that. So just copying and pasting links from the Amazon docs and just writing down notes as I was going. So this is basically just a living document that expanded over time. And like for these longer paragraphs, I did like use ChatGPT to like kind of explain and summarize, because at times I couldn't be bothered just reading through the docs because I felt that would be tedious. But yeah, that was basically it. I guess to summarize, recommend Stefan Marbrick's course, tutorials, dojo questions, and then your choice of practice exams. It really depends, I guess, overall, like your knowledge base of AWS. So if you're constantly using AWS, like I kind of was, and you have a familiarity, it won't take as long. But if you're brand new, I'd say maybe aim for 6 months. Yeah, it really just depends on your AWS knowledge going into it and the amount of time you're able to spend on it. I guess everyone studies differently and approaches exams differently, but yeah, for me, it was basically just after work, after the gym, like 1 or 2 hours, and then, yeah, well, I ended up passing with, I think like 820, 825. I'll have a screenshot here somewhere on the screen, but, yeah, pretty proud with it. Have the CV on LinkedIn. I mean, had the certificate on LinkedIn now, so don't have to worry about studying that. And, yeah. And I guess also, like, luckily, AWS, if you pass an exam, they give you a voucher. I think you get, like, half off for your next exam, which is sick. So if I want to do, like, another AWS course, maybe the developer one, then I'm able to do that pretty easily. But, yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave comments, questions. I'll be more than happy to answer it about the Solutions Architect. And, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace.